Welcome to the February 3rd edition of Midweek Missions, the weekly missions update from First Baptist Nixa. The aim of this series is to keep our members apprised of the ministry of our mission partners. Our hope is that this will foster a stronger connection between the members and the missionaries of First Baptist Nixa and provide us with a weekly opportunity to pause and to pray for our missionaries. Today I would like to bring you an update from Stephen and Kelli Shaddox, our missionaries to Prague in the Czech Republic. Stephen and Kelli are with an organization called TEAM, which stands for the Evangelical Alliance Missions, a mission agency dedicated to disciples making disciples. We voted to partner with Stephen and Kelli in our December 2020 members meeting. They were here with us in October, having spent the better part of the last 6 months raising their mission support. I'm pleased to announce that they are now 100% fully funded, and they had hoped to depart for the mission field in March. As you will hear in the newsletter, the Lord seems to have had other plans as COVID has delayed their departure. Nevertheless, they are remaining faithful and they will still begin their language training virtually and hope to leave at the earliest opportunity. I would like to read to you their January newsletter and then give you some items that you can pray for. 'Twas the day after Christmas and everything had been going the way we had been praying for. The Lord had blessed us with an incredible few months of building our support team for the mission field and brought so many faithful prayer warriors and financial partners into our path. He had provided temporary housing for us. He provided when we had unexpected expenses. He kept us safe and healthy in the midst of a pandemic that was all around us as we traveled weekly to different churches and meetings with people to share our missionary calling. We were able to complete our training with our missions agency virtually via Zoom calls and online modules. We had finally gathered all of our necessary visa documents and sent our applications to the Czech consulate. Everything was on track for us to reach our goal of being in Prague by March. We were and still are so grateful and in awe of all that God has done over these past several months. Since that time, we've been notified by the Czech consulate that, due to the most recent COVID restrictions, they would not currently be able to process our visas and that we will have to wait to apply once the restrictions are eased. To say that we weren't disappointed would be a lie, but our conviction regarding our calling to the Czech Republic was never in doubt. God reminded us what His Word says in Proverbs 16:9, "A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." We all know this to be true. We can make our plans all day long, but God is sovereign and His will is going to be done. The process of gathering all of our necessary visa documents was extensive, complex, and at times stressful. I, Stephen, had been consistent in telling people that it was all in God's hands, but there were times that I treated it like it was somehow in mine. I remember praying as I left the post office after mailing our applications, "Lord, our timeline and every step of this process has always been in your hands. Forgive me for ever thinking that it's been in mine." The burden was immediately lifted. There is such an overwhelming sense of freedom when we truly release our plans into the Lord's hands. Our missions agency and our leadership in the Czech Republic have been very encouraging and supportive since we got the news about our visas. They have informed us that we will still be able to deploy as missionaries while we are here in the States and begin our formal language training virtually via online courses, tutors, etc. in the months leading up to our eventual departure. This is a huge blessing because language learning is going to be our primary focus during our first couple of years on the field, and this will give us a great head start. While learning a language immersed in the culture where that language is spoken is optimal, one thing we know is that because everything is so locked down in the Czech Republic right now, we wouldn't really be fully immersed in the culture even if we were physically there. In fact, other team missionaries there in Prague are doing language learning online, as most in-person classes are not meeting. We are very thankful that TEAM is working with us to help us be actively working towards our future ministry in the Czech Republic, and not just sitting in a holding pattern. Some of the details are still being worked out, but the plan is for us to complete our remaining tasks and assignments for TEAM in the next month, which would allow us to be deployed stateside on March 1st. Thank you for your faithful prayers for our family. We want to be praying for you as well, so please reply to us and let us know if you have any prayer needs. In Christ alone, Stephen and Kelli Shaddox. In just a moment, we're going to pray for the Shaddox family and for their future ministry in the Czech Republic. But first, let me give you 3 prayer points to guide your intercession. Number 1, I want you to pray for Stephen and Kelli's transition and the transition of their family. They say that as they've moved closer to Kelli's family for their remaining time in the States, they ask you to pray for them and for their girls as they have already begun to miss their Oklahoma friends and church family. Pray that God would help them to build relationships and transition to life in Illinois. Secondly, they ask you to pray for the pandemic and for their visas. Pray for relief from the pandemic situation in the Czech Republic and around the world, and that travel restrictions would ease and allow for their visas to be processed in the near future. And third, pray for their language learning plan. Pray for them as they work with their Czech leadership and develop a good and effective language learning plan in the coming days and weeks as they will be preparing for full-time language learning beginning in March. As you pray through these prayer points, we will put up a 1-minute timer, after which we will stop the video. As always, feel free to pray longer than 1 minute, but let's devote at least a minute to pray together for Stephen and Kelli and for their future ministry in the Czech Republic.